Hello everybody, it is the first Saturday of Halloween. I mean, it's the first Saturday of October. It's October 3rd. I don't like this little flyaway, it looks weird. We gotta fix that. I had planned to do a really cute, spooky Halloween intro, wear a witch's hat, but when I went down to my basement to find the Halloween decoration, all I could find was this broomstick. I already decorated outside, like weeks ago. I need my indoor decorations and, well, no witch's hat, so sorry. Instead, you get to watch me drink out of this Florida mug, which my mother found in someone's trash can on like trash day. Like, I don't remember if it was actually in their trash can or if it was more like the recycling bin because I was a baby. Thing is that I actually have a pumpkin mug, but unfortunately these big spools of thread just do not fit on my sewing machine. So I have to put them in this mug to keep them from falling over. And since I just got done sewing Snow White yesterday, I haven't had time to take that mug and wash it. Well, I actually probably have had tons of time to wash it, but I didn't really want to. Plus, I'm going to use this mug to sew again, so Florida mug it is. So go ahead and take yourself to the Dollar Tree and grab a whole bunch of these Ghostbuster party totes that they currently have. And then you're going to want some creepy cloth and some of these pillowcases. Some other things you can get from the Dollar Tree would be scissors, one of those little sewing packs they have, Velcro, shoelace, or ribbon, and then paper and pen. I already have these items at home, so I'm just going to use the ones I own to save money. And then get some little oranges and a permanent marker and make these because they are so cute. Go ahead and do your best to draft the pattern that you can. I kind of cheated a little because I went ahead and I used the pattern from my pumpkin harvesting dress and I altered it in such a way so that it would work for this dress. Here you can see the original pattern pieces that I had made compared to the new ones. Basically, instead of having a front closure, I fixed it up into a back closure. Now take your pillowcase, you don't have to cut it up or anything and put the pieces on top, just make sure that that piece is on the fold. The Dollar Tree that I shopped at only had 4 of these totes. I definitely could have used more, but 4 will work. Now take your scissors and you're going to go ahead and cut the totes like this, except for one of them because we are going to cut it like this. The reason we are cutting it like this is because one of my bodice pieces is too big to fit on just the front or back side of the tote, and I needed those extra few inches on either side. Here you can kind of see what I'm talking about. My front bodice piece goes over the seam a little bit, so I just needed a little extra space. Of course, if you are bigger or smaller, this is going to be different for your own piece. The reason I cut the back piece out, like this little middle bit, was so that I would have just enough space to put the side front piece on top of it without losing all that extra fabric in the back. You're also going to want to cut off 2 of the handles to use as straps. You're going to have 1 pillowcase left and these 3 front parts of the tote, and this is what all of our bodice pieces are going to look like once they're cut out. I went ahead and I put all the right sides together of the outer bodice and I sewed them. Now we're going to do that for the lining bodice. Now the lining and the outer bodice are both sewn together. You're going to go ahead and put your straps in between both layers like this. And essentially you're going to sandwich them together. This is where I decided to place mine. One of them is on the seam and then about halfway of the back piece of the bodice. And when you sandwich these together, you're going to do it right sides together. You're going to go ahead and sew the top and then the bottom, and then you're going to basically have this tube that you can go ahead and flip inside out. Please ignore all of the pointing. I know it doesn't line up with this voiceover, but I had a voiceover because there's music playing in the background. And here we have the bodice so far. It's coming along so well. The fit looks pretty nice. I'm gonna have to trim a little bit of fabric away from the back. And guess what? The Halloween decorations and the witch hats have been found. Yay! Hello, my spooky friends. It is now time to top stitch the top part of our bodice. This is simply done by just stitching over the top of the fabric to make a nice, smooth, flat appearance at the top, as you can see here. This is also an excellent time to trim away any loose threads that we might have missed earlier. Alright, here we have the inside of the bodice. It is completely lined. I know a lot of people skip lining things, but I think lining is super important. So I try and do it on as many costumes and projects as I can. Anyway, we're just going to do a rolled hem on each side. After you're done with that, you can just add a little strip of Velcro to each side as well. Now that that's done, you can see that the bodice fits really well. I wasn't able to Velcro it super well on my own, so I'll have to get help later, but look, there's another hat. And that's all I have to say about that. Now we are all done with the top, so it is time to move on to the skirt. So we're going to use a pillowcase and all of that creepy cloth. Now it is your choice. You can either use the tan or the black or a little mix of both. I'm not really sure how many I'm going to do, and in the beginning when I was listing off all the ingredients, not ingredients, that's baking or cooking, all the supplies, I guess, or all the things you needed from the Dollar Tree, I had shown like 6 or 7 of them. I don't think we're going to need that much, but I'm filming this before I've made the skirt, so I don't really know yet. And I'm also not really sure. I think I just want to use the tan creepy cloth to keep going along with the color of like kind of the burlap tote type material and coloration, but I might end up using some of the black. So let's go ahead and get started on that. Go ahead and take your pillowcase and you're going to cut it on both of the long sides. That way you get a real long rectangle. Then you're going to pin a casing all around one edge. You can also hem the other end if you would like. And then when you're done sewing that casing and sewing up the short edge, you can go ahead and weave in your shoelace or your ribbon. And then you can just cinch it closed like this and tie it with a bow. Ooh, creepy cloth time. I don't know why it's called that, but I guess it's supposed to be creepy. It can be a head covering, a veil for a spooky wedding, or it can be a shawl. All the grandma vibes. I decided, with all the deciding power that I possess, that it would be best to just pin this right onto myself, which actually ended up being a pretty good idea. What wasn't a good idea was using the tan creepy cloth. I just really wasn't liking how the color looked. Unfortunately, I had only bought 2 packs of the black, so I was going to have to leave the tan creepy cloth on there and then put the black over top of it so it wouldn't be too sheer. I ended up having to sew this right onto myself. I would have preferred to take the skirt off and then gone ahead and sew in it. But when I had pinned it onto myself, I had accidentally pinned right through the waistband, so I wasn't going to be able to get the skirt off. This actually worked out all right, but man, I poked myself like a lot. Here you can get a better look of the bodice. I really love how the bodice turned out because it can actually be worn as an actual garment, whereas the skirt looks pretty costumey. And now that we're out of the dark, you can actually see the skirt. It turned out pretty well, but like I said, it looks very much like a costume. It's not something that you would just wear every day. Also, it turns out that my phone is haunted. But who you gonna call? Well, you've been a trooper. Thanks for watching. Take some candy. I went to a pumpkin patch the other day, and the only thing I bought were these little baby corns because they were the cheapest thing there. And you know what I got my sister? I bought her an apple that cost almost $3. And the pumpkins were outrageous. Plus, I don't really need pumpkins because I have all my own pumpkins that I grew. And they're so cute.